Welcome back to my 100% playthrough of Heretic on the Black Plague Possesses the difficulty. Played through the Heretic plus Hexen re-release on the Kex Engine. We're doing all levels with a 1 start, and this is E4M9, the secret level of the 4th episode of Heretic, Mausoleum. Now, I'm sure most, if not all of you, know what a mausoleum is, but it does have an interesting etymology. Now, for those who aren't aware what a mausoleum is, it's a tomb or a vault that is specifically a building dedicated to being a tomb or a vault in particular. But its etymology, it comes from the Latin word Mausoleum, which means pretty much the same thing, but it refers to a specific mausoleum because the Latin term in turn comes from the Greek word Mausoleon, which is a building dedicated to Mausoleus, who was a satrap in Caria, in what is now modern-day southwestern Turkey, at Halicarnassus. And his building, his tomb, the Mausoleum, became Mausoleum in Latin, and then it was adopted into English, and now it basically means any tomb or any vault that is specifically a building dedicated to being such. Now with all that out of the way, we can finally start the level, so let's do that. Let's grab some ammo and the gauntlets of the Necromancer, and then we can go into here. We're going to use the wand to fight this fella. If you take any damage, it isn't that big of a deal because there are crystal vials here. But you want to press this button either way. And hopefully by the time these guys get in here, they might run into this crusher. But you want to grab the bag of holding either way, so you have ammo to deal with this upcoming situation, which will pit you against quite a number of gargoyles of the regular and fire variety. Now we're going to camp here just so we have a good spot to fight the fire gargoyles, because fighting them out in the open is not ideal at all, because these hallways are not really that narrow, but they're narrow enough to where having several fire gargoyles fight you in the open will very much inconvenience you. Even in this area, they can inconvenience you because they gather and they split off into several places, and it can be quite a pain, especially if you're fighting them out in the open. But if you aren't, dealing with them this way can get rid of them in a steady manner. And I believe that should be most, if not all of them. That is probably all of them. So now that they're out of the way, we can go through here and fight some golems. Let's not get too close to this corner though, because if you do, you'll wake up this nitro golem. We're gonna fight him with the Elven Wand. And then we're going to repeat the process. And if you're feeling particularly confident enough in your zapping skills, you can actually use the gauntlets on the other golem, but we fought the one with the Elven Wand so that we wouldn't wake up the other one. Now, what I'm going to do is wake up more nitro golems in these hallways. Usually there are 2 in each hallway, and at least 1 to 3 regular golems being able to bodyguard them or meat shield for them. You want to focus on the nitro golems, of course, but if a regular golem gets in the way, that's fine. You can focus on them as well. As long as you're clearing out these hallways of either type of golem, or rather both types of golems, you should be in the clear. So let's repeat the process. This last hallway is particularly filled with people eager to see you. If you can call golems that. But as you can see, what I'm doing here is going slightly to the left and slightly to the right, and occasionally when there's too many projectiles, you just hug the wall and let them hit the wall instead of you. And with all that out of the way, first off, I'm going to grab some extra ammo. Before I commit to going down this hallway, because once we reach, say, this point, you can look right here and see that Iron Lich. You can hit him. You can get quite a number of free hits, depending on whether or not he goes into a pain state. And there he is. There's his pain state. And now that he's woken up, let's get on out of here, and let's go fight him a bit up close. But not too close, just close enough to where he'll hit against the wall instead of you. Yeah, like so. You might drop a Morphobum, which might come in handy, but either way, you can also clear out this hallway. Like so. Just make sure that the tornado isn't following you. Make sure it's hugging a wall, or make sure it's disintegrated. You can disintegrate them early if you have them hit the wall at a very specific time. The mechanics behind that are still complicated as ever, but we can make it work. Either way, this place is mostly cleared out, or at least this side is. And we're going to repeat the process on the same side. That's one part. Part two. We'll grab some ammo before we go into part 3. Even though there's a crystal geode here, it's nice to have a little bit extra. And you know the drill at this point. Yeah, just be careful with the screaming metal skulls. They do try to seek you, but their angle is very forgiving. Perhaps maybe a bit too forgiving, but either way, we can repeat the process that we did with the one Iron Lich on this one. He doesn't respawn until he enters a pain state. And when he does, you may want to leg it, at least for now, till you can go into a place like this one and get the drop on him. Even if it means that there are nitro golems. Actually, these are regular golems. So you can use the gauntlets on them if you wish. And that is what I wish. And look at that. He went all the way to the other side. That is so silly. That is so silly, that's stupid. I was expecting him to stay around there, but I think I expected too much. Well, let's wait for him to come a little closer. No, he's going the other way. Okay, if you say so, buddy. And then he goes the other way. He does not want to be hit. He wants to be in the dark. This is a scary encounter, isn't it? There you go. Come on, hit that wall. Yeah, I like that. Knucklehead. Alright, so most of these halls are cleared out. There are a few with some regular golems here and there. But, as you may have seen from the beginning of the video, the yellow key is right here. Yeah, it's directly in front of you. But there are so many golems that they're very eager and able to harass you throughout your whole key grabbing process. And that's why I usually like to clear out these hallways first and foremost. Because of stuff like that. Yeah. Golem jump scare. Regular golem jump scare even, because there's two of them, I believe, in this hallway. And the only reason why I'm not using the gauntlets on those ones is because of all the undead warriors that are present in the caged area in the center. Now, a lot of times you can get those regular golems to quote-unquote infight with these undead warriors, but they won't be able to really do anything because they'll just kind of sit there and rattle the cage bars impotently. But anyways, since we have the yellow key, you can open up any of these doors. You can open up all of them if you want, but here's the order I like to take. You want to take the leftmost one first, so that you can get access to the crossbow. You don't have to use it yet, but you can still clear out all these enemies in this area, because they're all regular gargoyles. And now that you have that, you can open up this area, and you can exit. And make sure these raise up all the way, because if you go back in to try to grab these time bombs, they will lower. And when they aren't completely raised up, there'll be some funny shenanigans going on with the crushers. They kind of glitch out, and you may not be able to grab the time bombs in that case. So make sure they raise up as much as they can before you go back in. Anyways, since we have our trusty crossbow, we can use it against these undead warriors. Now you can kind of play in a drive-by fashion, but results may vary on how much you get hit. So you may have to be a little patient and wait for them to finish firing every now and then. But ideally, you can hit them with at least one or two barrages of your trusty crossbow, and it should kill them rather quickly. So now that we've finished the area where you get the crossbow, we are not going to go into here, but we are going to grab this quartz flask. We might need it later. We're going to go into this area that gives you a tome of power and allows you to go through this part, and we're going to use our trusty crossbow on these fellas. And the reason why we went here is because whenever you press this button in this little corner here, you get access to the Dragon Claw. And you also get 2 quartz flasks in the lava, but you don't want to spend too much time in there, so don't dilly-dally. So now we have the Dragon Claw and the crossbow. You might hear some undead warriors here, but that's not our concern. What is our concern, however, is going into this area and dealing with these disciples. Now, we could have gone here at any time, but I prefer to go here whenever I have weaponry. So if you're like me and you're cautious, you want to make sure you have that weaponry so you can push this button after dealing with all the disciples. Pushing that button will reveal this opening and allow you to go down through here and push this button which will at last open up this door, which you can go through and get the secret with the Ring of Invincibility. And you can also pass through these parts now. Pretty cool stairway. But anyways, all those noises you hear come from the undead warriors who just so happen to teleport through the teleporter in the center there. So yeah, they're still angry, but they don't know how to get back. Anyways, let's go through the center portal now. And let's proceed with caution, because there will be fire gargoyles here. What you want to do to make your life easier, aside from using the Dragon Claw on anyone who decides to come your way, is try to corral them into the center. Although I think I killed all the fire gargoyles by the time they all reached here. There's a chaos device here, but in order to proceed, you'll have to attack this. Usually you are firing into this area, which allows you to do that. But anyways, let's press this button, which will reveal all these openings. We're going to go into this one and fight these disciples real quick. Specifically these two. Just so we have a bit of a safe space to fight these guys from. And with our trusty Dragon Claw, we can make quick work of these guys, because they all will try to congregate towards your location. But they are still not that bright. Anyways, when you try to go through here, you'll be greeted by 2 nitro golems and 2 regular ones. And they're guarding ammunition. But when you go into that area, you have an opportunity to grab all this extra stuff. All these quartz flasks, and maybe the crystal vials should you need them. And you can do it again if you missed the opportunity. But anyways, this is where you get the green key, and this is why we went through that area last. But when we get the green key, we'll wake up these iron liches. This area with the iron liches will open up. So you want to proceed with more caution than I had earlier. But funny things may ensue as a result of them potentially going into this area. They might get attacked by the Crushers. Which is pretty convenient if you ask me. The only problem is if they drop any morphomes or claw orbs, they may get crushed by the Crushers. So that's the only downside to it. Anyways, here's a Tome of Power. And speaking of morphobum, we did not go through this area because it has a torch. It has ammo for weapons we don't even have yet, and it has a morphobum. So this is a quote-unquote legitimate way to get the morphobum should you need it, which you may. But now, since we have the green key, we're not going to take this one. Instead, we're going to open all these up. We're going to take the leftmost one, which will allow us to go through here to where all the undead warriors were. So we can acquire the Hell Staff and also have a way through here. And remember when I was mentioning the undead warriors were going through this portal? Yeah, we'll visit that portal a little bit later. For now though, we're going to go back through here and visit the middle green portal, which will send us through here and allow us to go through this place. You can use the Dragon Claw or Hell Staff. Maybe the Dragon Claw will get you better results, maybe not. I'd say it will in this hallway. As opposed to the hit scan of the Dragon Claw. The lock on it is very useful in that regard. And I'd say up close, that's where the Dragon Claw shines in a place like this. Up close and at mid ranges, but at long ranges we can use the Hell Staff. Make sure he's good and dead. There we go. Now that he's out of the way, we can go through here without much of a hassle. And when you step into this place, you want to watch out because these disciples will try to strike you. They'll try to ambush you. But they're still slim pickings. They're guarding an Inferno Orb and the Wings of Wrath. And you can also interact with this banner if you want to go out through here. For whatever reason. Anyways, over here is where you can get a silver shield. And with that, it can potentially make this whole encounter a bit easier. Or a bit less painful at the very least. But yeah, you can give this Disciple of the Spiral in the distance the Hell Staff treatment. But when you're done with all that, you can go all the way down here, interact with this wall, and now we can deal with whoever's left. I believe most, if not all, of these are fire gargoyles. If you want to be patient, you can wait for them to move all the way over to this place. Or you could try sniping them at angles such as that one. But I'm going to fall down here deliberately just so I can show you. There's ammo in the lava if you really want to get it for the Phoenix Rod. But since we have the Phoenix Rod, I can finally show you these little places here. This one has a Tome of Power. We're going to grab it, but when you do, you want to watch out. Because there's an Iron Lich. And the thing about that is that there are Iron Liches in all these places that open up. And I do mean all of them. However, on the plus side, you get Fire Maces in all the openings. And this one had the Silver Shield. Might as well grab it, just to have some protection. So let's fight these Iron Liches that came out, because I usually do by the time you finish the ones on the one side. And now that they're out of the way, we have free reign to grab all the other stuff, including the torch. And the quartz flask. And that's just about everything in this spot. So at last, I think it's time to go through... Actually, no. It's not time. Baited. Instead, let's go through the portal in the center. Just so we can get that out of the way. Because we now have the Ring of Invincibility. We'll probably need it for this particular part. You can grab some flame orbs to help you out with this part if need be. But usually I like to use the Hell Staff. So let's activate it. Let's go right through this area. There's lots of lava. But I like to use the invulnerability in this area because we have to go through the hot floor, deal with all these guys, go into these secret areas, kill all the undead warriors. You could also use the Shadow Spear as well if you wish. But the invulnerability makes things a bit easier for these particular encounters. And we can also use the Shadow Spear in another area later. Another thing about this area with the damaging floor is that this darker side with the flickering light does not damage you. That's its tell, and that's pretty much the only reason why I'm excusing it for having a damaging floor that does not damage you. This is the only time in all of Heretic, I believe, where it actually does that. And it has a tell. It has a way of showing you that it does that. That's the difference between the damaging floors that damage you in a map like Sepulchre. But yeah, you could otherwise just take the portal back out, but that place has so many secrets in it that you want to take advantage of that whenever you have the opportunity to do so. Anyways, at last, for real this time, we can go through this portal. Now I'm going to use the torch and the Shadow Spear. And you can use the Hell Staff or the Dragon Claw. Doesn't really matter which. And you know what? I think it's time to use the Time Bomb. And since I have the Shadow Spear, we can use it on these guys as well. Yeah, get Time Bombed, loser. Yeah, there's some Nitro Golems here and there as well. But it's no big deal. You just get rid of all these guys. You get the Tome of Power out of it. We have 4 Tomes of Power, and I have not used a single one. Oh well. We're gonna use another torch though. Because this place is dark as hell. Well, this place has a bag of holding. And we got the blue key out of that as well. And if you heard, a door is opened, and it has, yes, there is. Another Iron Lich. Another pair of Iron Liches even. So you want to watch out for them. You can blow them up like so. And get some pretty good results out of that. But anyways, we got the blue key out of that whole endeavor. And as you can see, we tagged just about everything. Just about. But before we do anything else, we're going to go through here. We're going to blow up this Iron Lich. And when we step into this area, chicken! Since I got another one, chicken! Let's burn these chicks. Mmm, fried chicken. Delicious. There's a map scroll. And there's the stairway. And that's the exit. However, I did not tag a secret. Which one didn't I tag, though? Because I believe it was this one. And this one. And we went through all this. Yeah, because we got all the kills and all the secrets and all the items. I just think I skipped a tag of the secret area. Which is pretty strange. Very strange indeed. So this is why it doesn't hurt to double check. It might have been in this area. Could be wrong. Let's use the Wings of Wrath. Yeah, because usually when you step on all these sectors, you should get the tag. And that's why I use the Ring of Invincibility as opposed to using Wings of Wrath. Oh yeah, that's right. This area. This little hole with the enchanted shield. Well, go figure I forget about that, even though I did like 2 run-throughs of routing this part. Yeah, after you fight the Iron Lich, you get, or Iron Liches, you get an opportunity to get an enchanted shield. Well, if you're playing continuously and you're not using any mods like the MIDI pack or something like that, you have a prime opportunity to get that ready for anything achievement should you have all the weapons, which you should. And you should probably even have so much ammo for them if you're playing continuously that you really will be prepared for anything. So let's celebrate. I didn't even use the Tomes of Power too much, did I? Tome Staff XA. And yeah, that's Mausoleum. And we spent quite a bit of time taking the scenic route through most of these places, did we not? Yeah. It's an interesting map. The way you progress through it has changed because the yellow key is right there, and there are portals at the back that you can just take using said key, and it makes progress a bit less cryptic, even though this is a secret level and the secret levels tend to be more cryptic than the usual progression, but I'm content with it. Like, them not changing too much else in this level, aside from making the progression considerably more obvious. Because again, the original was slightly cryptic, but not too much. But aside from that, level plays pretty much the same in all the little areas you have to go to. And it shouldn't be a problem clearing most, if not all of them out. And you can do it in a specific way, which makes things easier regarding grabbing all the items, all the weaponry that you'll need. So, my recommendations, once again, when you get the yellow key, left teleporter first, right 1 second, center 1/3. And as per the other one, it doesn't particularly matter, but I believe the one that allows you to teleport into the area with the Hell Staff and all the Undead Warriors, when you get the Hell Staff, it'll make the other area considerably easier with the disciples in the long hallway. But even if you don't have that, you'll have the Dragon Claw at that point, which will make things easier as well. Although not as easy as using the Hell Staff in those very long hallways where the disciples will be eager to throw projectiles from a mile away right into your face. But anyways, we are done with Mausoleum. Stay tuned for the next level where we go into Great Stair. But until then, I'll see you when I see you, so see ya!